Ch1cago State University don't use their own mouth confess inside court. This one not be say na rumor, na news. No, Jackson Udell dey live and direct for court. Many Nigerians dey live and direct for court. These pictures where they see like this, now both atiku lawyer Jackson Udell, even the video where they see now Jackson Udell live and direct for the court. Listen to what happened. The school themselves, the Chicago State University themselves, tell court say as it stands now, say they non dey sure whether the certificate whether with Tinubu, whether a real one or forgery. And the judge, man, not talk. Listen to the full details. What did me share and make other people see? I mean, they're very important.
U.S. court adjourns Atiku's records case as Ch1cago University denies knowledge of certificate Tinubu submitted to INEC. The United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois on Tuesday adjourned ruling on a subpoena application for Bola Tinubu's records from Ch1cago State University shortly after the institution denied knowledge of a certificate the Nigerian president submitted to the country's Electoral Commission INEC to run for office. Before Judge Jeffrey Gilbert in Ch1cago State University lawyer Michael Hayes categorically stated that the school was not in a position to authenticate Mr. Tinubu's certificate as either fake or genuine. A position that contradicts the school's previous assertion that it issued a certificate to the Nigerian politician after he graduated in 1979. Here was how the question was thrown at the lawyer. Is the diploma authentic or is it a forgery? The lawyer replied, my client can't answer yes to either of those questions, Mr. Hayes said at the hearing in Chicago that began at about 1:30 p.m. and lasted several hours in the lawsuit brought by Atiku Abubakar, Mr. Tinubu's main challenger during the February 25th presidential election. The lawyer insisted that the school's administrator, if asked under oath, won't be able to certify Mr. Tinubu's certificate because they just don't know where he obtained it or how. Interesting. Mr. Hayes was responding to the judge's inquiry into the school's ability to confirm under oath that Mr. Tinubu was issued the certificate he tendered to Nigeria's electoral office as part of his final eligibility paperwork in June 2022. It is against the Nigerian constitution to submit dubious documents to INEC, and politicians, including governors, have been ousted for similar infractions. Mr. Hayes insisted that Ch1cago State University records showed Mr. Tinubu attended the school, but admitted there were several contradictions that the school's administrator won't be able to clarify under oath. Those discrepancies include the June 22, 1977 date that Mr. Tinubu's certificate carried, as well as the school's president at the time the certificate was obtained, and typographical fonts and header errors on the document. On June 17, 2022, Mr. Tinubu submitted a certificate to INEC that was purportedly issued in 1979 and signed by Eleanor Daniel. But Miss Daniel only arrived at Ch1cago State University in 1998. So how did someone who arrived this school in 1998 sign a document in 1979? Miracle. She arrived this school from Hampton University. That was 19 years after Mr. Tinubu was said to have graduated. She then left the school in 2008 following a financial mismanagement. Financial mismanagement scandal. Or 14 years before June 2022, when Ch1cago State University issued yet a fresh certificate in Mr. Tinubu's name under subpoena from a Nigerian lawyer who had inquired about Mr. Tinubu's education there. So what this part is talking about is that this certificate was, the first certificate Tinubu got was in 1979 when he graduated. So that is what Tinubu showed earlier. Now, and the lady who is the president of the school in 1998, who became president in 1998, is the one that her signature is showing in the certificate. Then the next time Tinubu got another certificate was in 2022, which was last year. And this same lady, her signature appears on the same certificate, whereas the lady had left the school in 2008. So how did she return to the school to sign the document? Two miracles by one person. No wonder she left based on mismanagement scandal. Now we proceed. The jarring contradictions, among others, caused Mr. Abubakar to file the suit to compel Chicago State University to produce records relating to Mr. Tinubu and make its top official available for deposition to certify the produced records, according to the Nigerian opposition leaders' lawyers. Alexander Digamont, who appeared in court for Mr. Abubakar, said the documents and depositions are being sought for use in the Nigerian Supreme Court, where the final battle over Mr. Tinubu's election is now headed. Mr. Digamont said the Nigerian Court of Appeal upheld Mr. Tinubu's election in its September 6 ruling because the panel did not have Chicago State University's position on the authenticity of the certificate Mr. Tinubu presented, saying the Supreme Court might be able to admit Chicago State University's position on the documents under a special rule. Your Honor, we don't know whether the Nigerian Supreme Court would be receptive to the new evidence or not, but we just want to be able to present the new evidence to them from Chicago State University, Mr. Digamont said. We already have them. The documents. What we are seeking is Chicago State University's authentication or their explanation for some of the discrepancies. Mr. Abubakar has until September 20 to appeal the September 6 decisions of the Court of Appeal, which is the first instance court in the Presidential Election Tribunal process in Nigeria. Judge Gilbert said the court has always taken a liberal and broad view in granting similar requests under Section 1782, a statute that allows the release of documents and evidence domiciled in the U.S. to be obtained and used in a foreign proceedings. Mr. Tinubu's lawyers, represented via a telephone conference by Christopher Carmichael, said Mr. Abubakar was on a fishing expedition, noting that the previous statements of Chicago State University to the effect that Mr. Tinubu graduated from the school were enough. Mr. Carmichael said there was no need to produce further evidence or place the school's officials under oath to speak to the authenticity of Mr. Tinubu's certificate, saying the proceedings would only fuel online trolls because the Supreme Court won't accept new evidence, even if produced. Consequently, Judge Gilbert said he would need additional time to reflect before ruling on the matter, but asked lawyers to all the parties to go through records submitted before the court and update them if necessary in the meantime. He said a date for a final ruling or additional hearing would be communicated to the parties.
Alright guys, that's the latest, that's the gist coming from Chicago court. You can now see that Tinubu's lawyers have created confusion in US court that made the judge to order for more documents, and he said he doesn't want to rush things but to give a Solomonic judgment. Chicago State University, them don't fall their hands big time. If you ask me, I think that there is someone in that registrar's office in Chicago University. The person is really backing or he's really working for Tinubu, but with time, faunas go open. The judge is confused and he said he need more time to go through all the documents before his final decision. What got Judge Jeffrey Gilbert surprised and confused is when he asked Atiku's lawyer, so you mean that Tinubu has a certificate that no one knows its origin and can verify its authenticity? And Atiku's lawyer replied, yes, Your Honor. Chai wahala. So which Chicago did Tinubu went to? Abi, do we have another Chicago State University? And guys, don't forget that this was the same university certificate that Tinubu gave to INEC as a criteria to contest for the 2023 presidential election. So, as it stands now, guys, I believe that Tinubu is going to be disqualified, because if Chicago University cannot provide or cannot prove Tinubu finished from the university, then why is he still a president? Why is he still illegally occupying that seat in Aso Rock? The world now knows that Nigeria Presido is an illegitimate person. Look at the trip Tinubu made to India, the G20. Bangladesh did not invite him, but they invited Tr0uble because na man wey get sense, na man wey get something for him head, na him dey disburse am. Tinubu would have made it to Bangladesh, but for the Commonwealth, yeah, they call it Commonwealth Trade and Investment Grand Inauguration. That was what they target. But he did not go because he wasn't invited. At least if he was invited, see, India and Bangladesh, they are neighbors, so it's just a stone throw. So that was why we heard that he branched Abu Dhabi in UAE, where the whole visa ban rumor started flying up and down. They fly up and down, say them don't lift the ban. Hey, last, my people, evil cannot produce evil. Monkey, fit born lion. So Tinubu will continue to be disastrous until the man that Nigerians voted for is sworn in. Alright, so we are going to be getting the gist, and as we are getting the gist, we are going to be giving you guys here on this platform Gist Update. So make sure that your bell notification is turned on. Make sure you are following Gist Estate, and make sure you like this video. I'll see you guys in my next video. Until next time, have a good day.